Well, I can tell you where things are at. Cap and I've been out here micing this motor. I was going to take it in and have it sleeved, but I'm just having second thoughts on it because these cylinders are all in such good shape. But right at the top of this one, and they make a tool called a reamer that goes down in there and fits tight, and it squeezes out against the side of the cylinder wall down lower, and so you'll get what the good area is, say like right in here. You'll adjust that carbide tip out. It's got this fine little thread center bolt, and you start turning that and turn that carbide tip, and it'll cut away that ridge up there. It's called a ridge reamer. I can't find one here. I found one company that sells them up in Manila, but they didn't have one that went out to this bore size. I could order one that's not that great of a brand on Amazon from the US, and it was 4 times the price of what everybody else was. And I'm not going to do that and wait for it to come. So I'm not going to be able to use a ridge reamer. No, there's not really a ridge in none of these. That's just a little bit of carbon build up, but not a wear line. This one here's just got where it had some moisture pinging up there at the top inside. So Cap and I took an old ring off this piston, put it in there. Had one hell of a gap, man. They were really worn, but the cylinder was in spec. We took one of the new rings and put it in there, and we took a set of feeler gauges, and we looked up the specs on this engine, and it was well within the max wearable tolerance for this, well within it. And the new ring, it was all well in spec. So I said, you know what, I may not go have this thing sleeved or anything where they'll bore it over and then drive a sleeve in. I'd rather keep it stock if I can. And today was when I was supposed to be loading it up to take it. I had prepped the motor to get it ready to go. I'd even pulled the mains off and all, so they wouldn't like bang the main caps around. I didn't know if they would be, you know, a little finesse with it or rough with it. So, but I just had an empty feeling on it. So once we started really mocking it out and taking the new rings and checking that and checking all the wear everywhere, and we found that this thing was well within tolerance, it really changed my mind on it. And lo and behold, what just came in? Well, it's not a ridge reamer, but it is a hone. And so Cap and I are about to get over here. He's going to help hold a lot. I'm going to use WD-40, and I'm going to start honing that cylinder. So I want to work on it first right up there at the top, because I had plenty of material to work with to still keep it in spec and to try to knock a little bit of that bad area off. So before I do anything drastic and go have it bored or anything, we're going to give this a go first. I need to work that top some, and I got to get it right at that edge, but where it don't spring out. So there's where it wants to spring out.
Yeah.
I need to work it about right there. How far down can I go? Try to get a feel for it. Don't want to hit anything down there and break the stones. So I'd stop it about right where the top of this little ring is here with the deck then. And then coming up, I want to get a look at it, how high I can go, maybe about right there. Okay. You might sling that all over front of your shirt. Work that top a little bit. So it's definitely having an impact on it. Let me flush it a little bit. You see some of that material that came off of there is like a buildup. You see it?
Yeah, it's just like a carbon.
Yeah, so it's actually already looking good. gotta work that top a little bit though. I'll have a look at it. Let me see it like. I don't want to wipe it yet, wait. Oh man, that's coming out nice.
It is. Yeah.
That is coming out really nice. It's that actually is doing pretty darn good.
Hmm.
We just need to continue. I'm gonna leave that little bit of grit on there. Here you go. I'm gonna leave it. I'm just gonna wipe it off the deck part, but I'm gonna leave the rest of it in there. It kind of helps it like machine a little bit, you know. Alright, so we'll wipe this out and see what's happening so far. But you still got that pitting and there's still a lip, so I can still work it more. We will see what's going to happen here. I've got, like I say, we've got some tolerance to work with to still work this down and to work these scratches out. It was this back piston that had the most problem. So I'm just going to keep working it. These others aren't like that. It's just this one's the one I've got to contend with, or whether I make the decision to take it on or not. I'm going to keep on honing it. But it's really changed it a lot already.
It has. It really has.
Once we get past that right there,
that ridge,
and then it's going to start knocking out those scrape marks right there.
Yeah.
And a lot of that's where the piston got hot. Well, I've been here honing out the cylinders. Didn't take much on these. And I need to hit that just a little bit more there, but not much. And I got a what they call a ball hone, or in the US they'll call it a dingleberry hone also. So yeah, man, these cylinders are looking good. And this is that back one. And you remember all that pitting, it's almost gone. I'm just working it slowly. Just working slowly. I'm still within spec. So I have more tolerance on here that I can take this down more. So I'm glad I'm not going to having it bored. I really am. And I'll just probably lose my money on buying those sleeves. They didn't cost much money. I'm going to keep lightly working on this, and it's a mess. It is a messy job. Yeah, it's a messy job. Keep spraying lubricant on there and just work it lightly. Don't take too much material. But I do have that ball hone coming, and it will give just a absolutely great cross hatching once I get it. And honestly, at that point, I can just start cleaning this motor up and start assembling it back together. Well, I have the cylinders looking absolutely amazing in there, and I'll have that ball hone, they also call a dingleberry hone, coming in, and I'll go back over them again. And right now I've got the block rotated here, and I have been cleaning it. I've been using lacquer thinner, breaking up the oil, and then I've been coming back over this with simple green, and it seems to kind of break that down even further. And you see it's down there just turning the shiny metal underneath here. And this is just one of the jobs that, you know, it's not glorious when you're building and all, but if you want to do a very prideful job, you know, when you're working and everything, this is some of that painstaking work that, like I say, it's not glorious or glamorous, but it's that nitty-gritty necessary work if you want to have some nice aesthetics and pride. So soaking this, and I'm taking this old paintbrush and I'm working in all these corners just to help make sure that there's little cracks and crevices not forgotten, and I can get in there and push if I want and work anything out of there. That's going very good on it so far. I've already got it really clean. If I turn it up right now on its side, which I have this old sheet down here that's my catch-all, catches all the muck when I turn it, and brought it back up and gave it another rinse with lacquer thinner again, it'll be amazing clean. So I'll show you here. If I just wipe some of this off, you'll see it's a very cast iron naked block right there, and it's got a lot of stuff pulling. See here, I've been breaking all that loose, and like I say, it's not glorious work, but it's necessary work for a nice job, and I want this to look very nice. So I'll clean it numerous times all around. Been working the front here as well, all this gasket surface here. See, I've got it pretty clean. Might be a couple places I really don't see nothing there. I think I need to take a razor blade and get real up close around that dial, but I think all the rest of it I've got it impeccably clean. But I'll take a razor and go over it anyway and just be sure. So won't be long that I can start building this motor. I'm going to give it an extremely deep cleaning, and if that ball hone shows up, I'll run through the cylinders with the ball hone, and I can do a lot even before that shows up, continuing here. But this is that work that you must do, that, you know, it's not anything like, oh, I can't wait to show that on video. But this is part of it, part of it all. Now, I know in the West, when I say the West, I mean America and so many other places, you know, Europe and Australia and all that, where you've got these really nice part stores and machine shops and computers, and they've got, you know, vatting and magnafluxing and all that. And I'm not saying they don't have that here. It's just it can be more challenging here. It's a little bit more work to find it. And, you know, to get a quick turnaround on your work. They might be here, but it's always kind of like a network of people that you got to know somebody, you know, or there's a lot of presumptions when you go to some of those places, especially if you're a foreigner, like here in the Philippines. They presume you don't know what you're doing. Seriously, they presume you don't know what you're doing, that, you know, this is their work. And I run into that really often. So that means I'm just going to give this a little bit of like a bush build, okay? So it's not going to be the perfect vatted, magnafluxed, you know, machine honed, and the deck milled and all that. And speaking of that, you really don't want to mill this deck, because you can't change any of the specs on this diesel too much without really throwing the engine configuration out. Especially where these have these pistons that stick up above the deck height already, and you may not be able to put a gasket on it because there's no clearance for the piston, because these pistons do protrude above the deck height. So you have to put that in mind too. Well, I'm going to continue cleaning here, and roll it over to the other side. I think I've already done a bunch on it already. I've already done the back. I've already got the front. So just maybe re-inspect the other side, turn it up, and then I'll give it a wash down to where everything can just run down with gravity. I turn it on its side like this, so a lot of it will sit in these cavities and soak. Anywhere it's set like up in here is where it really needed anyway, harder to get to. But I guarantee you I will have it looking absolutely perfect. What I want to tell you I've been doing right now is prepping to make sure that I get a good adhesion. And so what I do is I take a heat gun and I go around all these places that might hide moisture or anything, and might be a bead of water or something in there. It takes a while to dry. And I go find all these places and I run this heat gun. Plus it kind of warms the metal just a little bit, which helps out also. So right now I'm about to tape it off and tape off this area here. I'm gonna lay the old head gasket on top right there. And that old head gasket will help me out as well of keeping paint where it don't belong, you know, keeping it away. And I'm again painting up this motor in the stage that it is right now, and I have good reasons for doing that. Check out that motor. Is that beautiful or what, man? So I've worked out here for hours now, cleaning, scrubbing, cleaning more, scrubbing. Guess scrubbing is part of cleaning. And got it down to where it is just super detailed down to every little crack and crevice. And then I have begun painting it. Kind of got my engine stand covered up so I don't get paint all over it. Just look at that, isn't she beautiful? And I covered up where the oil filter goes. I covered up where the oil return goes, where the oil return. So you got a couple different oil returns. You got an oil return from the turbo. You got an oil return that comes from the alternator because it has a oil lube bearing, the constant supply in the front of it also. And then you got a banjo bolt right here. I covered it up. I cleaned up this old oil sending unit really good and put a fresh coat of paint on it. Man, look at that. It looks nice. And I laid the old metal head gasket up here because it covers most of everything. And then just laid a rag over the cylinders. I use this old water pump only for weighting that down right there. Make sure that metal gasket stays down. And that just leaves me only the areas that need to be painted, and I see exactly where it don't need to be painted. I taped off the front here with the front covers going on, but all this get painted again, another coat. If you're like, well, you don't have the engine built yet, why aren't you painting it? Well, because as I'm building, I want it to be easy to clean. And so I'll get this coat on here, let it dry really good, and then as I'm working, I got a sealed surface. I don't have porous cast iron there. You know, like a cast iron skillet when you cook, you know, it can soak up whatever you're cooking, so you don't ever want to use soap on it because it'll soak up the soap and your food will taste like the soap. Well, same thing. I'm not going to be tasting the block, but it'll keep absorbing stuff into it. And right now I have the cast iron really clean. I want to seal it, and then I can easily clean it as I move forward, and I'll have a real clean project to where I won't constantly look like this. And you just get wore out with going through a million pair of gloves also. So that's the dealio with that. And I'm actually still gonna put one more coat on it right now. And this side here, you can tell it's not quite as thick as the other side. I wanna go ahead and get another coat, and I wanna make sure that cast iron is sealed really well. So y'all tell me what you think about it. And you really see this color strong underneath this light versus during the daylight. I bought mini cans. I'll get my words right here in a minute. I bought mini cans of this ceramic high heat engine and drivetrain paint. If y'all want to see this brand, you can order it online. It's VHT that's available here in the Philippines. They have a whole lineup of paints. Go to their website and check it out. You can buy this on Lazada and probably Shopee too, but definitely on Lazada. And check out their whole lineup of paints they have, non-metallics, metallics. They even got your old favorite colors, like Ford blue and like Chevy orange and all that. They have all those colors as well. And they have this metallic series also. that has a real good heat rate to it. And they have some in their lineup that have even a higher heat rating than this on it. And get those undersides in some places. Make sure I got it down underneath there. So that's what we'll do. Just cut that. Let's see, where's the end here? I'm trying to figure the best place to open it. Maybe right here. There's a plastic fan in here that can get broke. See, it's been pressed on it pretty hard, but it looks okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Plastic fan.
Yeah. This part's aluminum. It should be okay. So that's okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.